Strawberry Jin here. And today, I'd like to personally thank BTS for their contributions to the K-pop industry through the music they've released so far. Or something like that. It's no secret that BTS are my favorite group, and since it's their 11th anniversary today, I figured it was time to make a video entirely dedicated to them. I'm going to be using a tier list I made myself. Allow me to walk you through the categories. At the bottom, we have Ears Bleeding, Turn It Off. Reserved for the absolute worst of the worst BTS songs out there. Second to lowest, we have All Listen to It, for the okay, mid songs. Third to lowest, we have Left Crumbs, in which they just didn't quite hit the mark. Third to highest we have Pretty Good. I think this one's self-explanatory. Second to highest we have For the Art, in which it was basically just below a masterpiece. And at the very tippy top, we have Absolute BTS Masterpiece, also self-explanatory. Now that you know the categories, I'm going to slowly pick through their discography. I'm not going to include OSTs, B-sides, non-official releases, or solos. Including all their songs would take me too long, and I want to focus more on the group itself rather than the members alone. Also, my only form of research for this video is translations by Dualset, the official MVS through HYBE, and sources from Wikipedia. All of my opinions and everything I'm going to say is directly my thoughts and things I pulled from the music. Of course, you're free to correct or disagree with me in the comments though. I'm also going to be separating these into chapters, so it's a bit easier to find. If I manage to do it correctly, you should be able to see them in the bar of this video. Think of this video as more as a love letter for the music I've enjoyed for the past years. But now, I happen to have 21 songs made from raw talent to delve into. So without further ado, let's get started. They had $5 and a dream, and they took their chance. Although it's nowhere near my favorite song by them, there's nothing but pure effort and determination in the performance of it. They knew they'd never succeed with flashy videos or outfits, so they put all of their very small amount of budget into trying to get the music and performance the best it could be. This mindset paid off in the future obviously, but we're not there yet, are we? Interesting enough, for 2013, RM, Suga, and J-Hope wrote the song alongside other writers. The lyrics ask the listener, us, what our dream is, and what we're doing to achieve it. It shows that we must take these dreams into our own hands, and that it's not to be lived out by others. It's ours to figure out. When we ask a small child their dream, we're met with fantastical and idealistic thoughts. But as we age, society pushes down on us and makes us think more realistically. From a dream that was originally to be a famous actor, has now dulled down and minimized to a doctor, with the thought of becoming an actor becoming just that, a thought, a memory of what could have been. The chorus calls out people who aren't honest with themselves about their dreams, and that they shouldn't be encouraging others to follow theirs when they don't even follow their own. Too many people undermine their lyrics, because this is a really deep topic to speak on when it's literally their debut. However, this whole bad boy hip-hop image just feels like a mask to what becomes later on. It isn't an accurate representation of the members, and I'm not going to act like it is. It absolutely isn't their best work. Just 3 months later, they came back. They still had no money, and they were just doing the best they could. The lyrics are kinda a follow-up to No More Dream, but instead of the blame being pushed to us, the viewers, it's to the government and the schooling system. Which I don't care what you think, this was a really brave thing to touch on considering their limited experience in the industry and where their social status was when this released. And honestly, even if they did have the power and success to do it, it would have still been heavily criticized. It was again mainly written by the members, which would become a frequent thing. And the main point of the song is how going into careers such as law, medicine, teaching, and other things like these are considered real jobs. While more creative outlets for careers aren't appreciated or pushed onto children or teens.
지금뿐이라고 조금만 참으라고 나중에 하라고.
This is signaling how parents and teachers say the only difficult thing in life is schooling. And when they're done, they'll have all they want, which isn't true, is it?
Everybody say no.
This highlights how the members themselves encourage others to say no to the societal construct stated previously. The idea of the song is great, and the lyrics are pretty decent. But knowing what they have created recently, I'd be super interested for them to revisit this topic with better experience of how to portray their message. The choreography is weird in some areas as well, and I'm just not a huge fan of the music or melody. I think it flows a bit weirdly. So overall, creative, well done for the time, but not wonderful in 2024. The second comeback is honestly a step back for their progress. The MV follows a high school setting, with all 7 of the members trying to get affection from a girl that goes to their school. And I'm not going to show lyrics from this one, because honestly, none of them stand out for me. The whole thing treats the girl as a prize to be won, and they show the members getting aggressive when she turns down their advances. It's a very juvenile way to look at love, and a lot of the scenes leave a sour taste in my mouth. And don't take this as me turning down or considering love songs as less good than other topics, because I think some love songs are genuinely amazing and can be done well in different lighting. The song itself is nothing great either, it's pretty boring. But it did give us this V. But just because I don't like the MV and lyrics, I refuse to listen to this on my own time. Yeah, this one, isn't it? This one's a runoff of the events from Boy in Love, where after they get with the girl, they realize that they feel like the relationship is one-sided, where she's uninterested in them. Therefore, they're warning her that the relationship is in danger. I think this was an okay way to follow up on their last MV, as not all relationships move smoothly, and a lot end in breaking up. That being said, it's a little cringy. The whole "you in danger" line is just too much. I would have much preferred if this would have been a calmer song like Just One Day is. And the instrumental basically just sounds like all of the prior title tracks mashed into one. So that's not amazing. There's nothing that stands out in this one. It's like eating food with no seasoning. You still get nutrients, but it's not as good as it could be.
Hello, 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 hello. Tell me what you want right now. Hello, hello, hello.
Believe it or not, I actually really like this song. The instrumental is amazing, and we got a wonderful JK rap. Which I personally think that rap is the best part of the song. Kinda crazy that their main vocalist had better rap than all of their rappers combined here. But now I kind of do have to address the elephant in the room. That being the misogynistic viewpoint of women in the lyrics. And the MV is kinda weird because they're basically just chasing and harassing a girl. To play devil's advocate in this situation, it does feel like they meant well. I don't think they had the intention of hurting women, and I don't think that the thought of it being something derogatory even came to their minds. And I might get hate for this, but they were pretty much just teenage boys that were raised in the point of view that women exist for the pleasure of men. So they reflected that in a song that was supposed to be appreciative of women. I can see where they were coming from, in other words. Being ignorant isn't an excuse though. They still wrote those lyrics and not one of them thought to change it. Including the adult men that also worked on the song. I hold young BTS accountable for this song, but that also doesn't mean we carry it to adult BTS. They've completely changed and proven that in multiple interviews and their newer music. I still like the song as long as I avoid the lyrics as stated previously. Sadly though, there was no doubt that they were struggling and practically losing money. The songs weren't doing what they needed them to, and following the trends wasn't getting them anywhere. They needed something new, something creative and captivating, something that would change the course of BTS and potentially K-pop forever. This was it, a masterpiece hidden in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And I've seen some misinformation spread about the meaning somehow. The song is not a cute love story, but a very toxic relationship instead. The members, or whoever's POV were in within the lyrics, is suffering with not being able to get away from their abuser. This may have been one of the very best things they could have done at this time, because this is sadly a very relatable experience for too many people. But now, I want to draw your attention to the amazing emotion the members exerted into their lines, because some of these parts actually sound heartbreaking.
Goes round and round. 나 왜 자꾸 돌아오지 하고 down and down. 이쯤 되면 내가 바보지. 나 무슨 짓을 해봐도 어쩔 수가 없다고. 분명 내 심장 내 맘 내 가슴인데 왜 말을 안 하냐고 또. 하늘이 파래서 햇살이 빛나서 내 눈물이 더 잘 보이나 봐. 왜 나는 너인지 왜 하필 너인지 너를 떠날 수가 없는지.
I am no vocal coach, nor have I ever been a singer in my life. But when you hear raw emotion in a song, it makes it 10 times more hard-hitting. I genuinely think BTS already had the sound perfected with this release, and I honestly haven't seen any other group or artist convey it correctly. It's also why Jin's my favorite vocalist. He articulates his emotions perfectly, and you can't help but feel whatever he's put into it. It was this song. This song was the start of BTS. This was the thing that would change everything for them.
어서 와. 방탄은 처음이지?
Ayo, ladies and gentlemen, 준비가 됐다면 부를게.
One of the best executed self-confidence songs, simply because it has more than one layer. Yes, they do say that they're dope for existing. But it also has some smaller elements to it in which they show a worse version. They highlight the fact that yes, they are dope, but it's draining to become that. And it's also things that aren't particularly used to describe someone cool, or used in the light of a celebrity. Because we all know that celebrities exist on an untouchable pedestal created by the media and the fandoms. None of us want to look at the hard work and suffering, the less lavish lifestyle these people also have to go through most of the time. Again, one of the greatest executions of a song in this type. Running off mild success and a first music show win, they decided to come back with this. J-Hope himself said that Run is about how BTS continually run to reach their goals and that they aren't slowing down, no matter how difficult it is. So I'll take it straight from him. running can be a fun sport, but without proper shoes and gear you may sustain injuries and possibly even cuts. Everything in the lyrics are metaphors for A army and their fame, and B their career and things they've done and want to achieve. I don't think it was a wise decision to make it sound so similarly to I Need You, because I and maybe you have a difficult time listening to this one than I Need You, and vice versa. In other words, the attempt to make the album cohesive sorta stunted the creativity. It's still a good song though.
불타오르네.
I overlook fire way too much. It falls into the back of my mind, and it never jumps out at me. In fact, even while making this video, I forgot about it. And that might be because I originally thought it was another self-confident song, such as Dope, but after reading the lyrics more closely, I was pleasantly surprised. I get the feeling that the lyrics refer to how even though getting drunk and high every night isn't seen as a good or useful add-on to society, it's still a way of life and it's your choice to do it or not. It's up to you in the end anyway, even if you know it isn't good. I wouldn't be able to explain this properly on my own, so here's Dulcet's explanation on it. This being known, it wouldn't be a BTS song without a little bit of Namjoon's sprinkle of anti-classism. I don't know, it's just an interesting fact to think about. The song was definitely created to be a hype song at concerts and music shows, and it of course does a great job at that. But because of it, it makes it a little difficult to listen to without a performance. It did give us Blonde Jin though, so that's worth at least 1 point.
Burn it up. 전부 다 태울 것 같이. Turn it up.
He too was a tempter. He too was a link to the second. The evil world with which I no longer wanted to have anything to do.
Not many things are untouchable, and most things are easily recreated. Too many songs steal and plagiarize something that already was. But not this song. Blood, Sweat, and Tears could easily be classified as a perfect song, a masterpiece if you will. Like in my previous examples, I could dive into the lyrics. But I honestly don't think I'll ever explain it in a way that makes sense. So instead of my own thoughts and takeaways, I might as well directly quote Namjoon and Yoongi.
이건 나를 벌받게 할 줄. Peaches and cream, sweeter than sweet. Chocolate cheeks and chocolate wings. But 너의 날개는 악마의 걸. 너의 그 sweet 앞엔 비려. Kiss me, 아파도 돼. 어서 날 조여줘.
The MV may even be more complicated. It's a very large slur of mythological and biblical references, something my tiny brain can't quite process or fully understand. But I recommend finding some article to explain it if you're interested. I assume you're expecting a link from me, but no, you're gonna have to find that yourself. Aside from the main song explanation, I just don't think it's a concept that can ever be done again by any other artist or group. I guess it technically does fall into a dark concept, but it was done in a way that's too perfect. It's artistic, not super heavy or sad. It's absolutely stunning cinematography. From the raps to the vocals to the choreography to the MV, from the start of the song to the end. It's one of the best experiences ever. Jimin's first line alone changed my life for the better. It is the best BTS era. It's perfection in a song, and I will never stop singing the praises of it. BTS had won their first day sang as Blood, Sweat, and Tears deserved. and they released something that was probably their bravest song they'd put out so far. Instead of going for a similar song to their prior releases or even something mainstream, they decided to make a song with a softer, gentler sound and feeling. Of course, I'm talking about Spring Day. If you clicked on this video, you probably already know something about the Seoul ferry tragedy, when we lost over 300 high school and middle schoolers because a ship's crew lied about how much weight their ferry could hold. And what was supposed to be a sightseeing trip turned into hundreds of South Korean citizens traumatized and angered at the devastating loss. This is a way overly simplified version of events, and I'm sorry I couldn't provide more. But if you're interested, I recommend watching this video. This information is important soon, so hold it for a tiny bit. Spring Day is a song dedicated to love, loss, and yearning for the past, nostalgia even, specifically tackling the nostalgia of grief and the missing of a person who is gone. Going back to previously, RM stated that he thought a lot about the families, survivors, and victims of the Seoul ferry tragedy when writing the lyrics. I don't think that I've seen a K-pop song speak on such a topic since this was released. Please let me know if there has been. The loss of people you love is bound to happen at least once in your life, and as a person that has lost someone close recently, I've realized just how much society expects us all to just move on from the grief. But it's never that simple. Death sticks with us forever. There's no way to forget their impact on your life. And you'll never not miss them. And I think that BTS going at it from a light of continually waiting to see them again was the best way of doing it. I've been listening to this song a lot recently, and I think it seems to be sadder than it once was. Truly a great song in every meaning. Ah yes, another one I forget about. Come to think of it, I don't think I had even read the lyrics before this video. It just feels so unimportant. And guess what I learned? Absolutely nothing. It's just as unimportant to me now as it was before. But I guess the sentiment is nice. I can appreciate that. The first part of the song is essentially saying that you shouldn't waste your life and that you need to do something with it. The second half is relating it to themselves and how they shouldn't give up on their own fight as BTS. And RM's a genius and quoted Martin Luther King Jr. because of course he did. But I'd still really prefer to not listen to it too often. It can be kind of annoying actually. I also kind of really hate the MV too. So yeah, giant step back. They were finally doing well. I mean, they were getting decent streams in Asia as well as a few other parts of the world by now. And I think this is pretty much the highest the members themselves ever thought they'd go. I'm not sure what changed in 2018, but fate had other plans. Something would be released that would get them bigger. They wouldn't be seen as artists just yet. But they'd at least have the lowest status in American celebrities. They would be known as a boy band. Surprisingly, this was it, the first song they ever released that was just pure pop. It's so interesting to me that this was the one out of all of their hard-hitting, in-depth lyrics and meanings, this was the one to move them America. I suppose it's because the general population mainly wants something lighthearted to get them to work every day, rather than deep meanings, which is completely understandable, but still. The lyrics to this one are very nice. A giant step up from their previous love songs. It explores the theme of love at first sight and fate. as well as feeling you've known someone forever. It describes it as if it was just in your DNA all along, like I said. Very nice lyrics, but I still don't see the full appeal. It feels rather lackluster after knowing the rest of their discography. It's a good song, just kind of boring. I'll forever wish the main public of Americans met them through something deeper. But I guess it doesn't matter too much, because they were there, weren't they? Now that they were rapidly gaining success, they continued on with their series of the Love Yourself albums, which would inevitably inspire future K-pop groups to do similar things. As you may have noticed from DNA, the songs in these albums always move through different types of love. What's so interesting about this song is it focuses on the fact that if you don't love yourself, you can't commit yourself to a full relationship. You can't keep trying to find your other half in a partner when the other half is inside of you. It also expresses that if you try too hard to keep or begin a relationship, it will end up never coming to light, and you'll eventually feel like you put more effort into it than the other person, resulting in the end of it. This is specified in the lyrics. The choruses also alternate between I'm so sorry, but it's fake love, and love it's so bad, love it's so mad. I just think that fake love portrays its meaning better than DNA does. I also prefer the lyricism and raps in this one. Though maybe I just like sad music, I'll never know. Fake Love is definitely one of the most adored and timeless songs to most armies, but I'll never see it as a masterpiece. Delving deeper into the Love Yourself albums, we finally venture into the themes of actually loving yourself with Idol. The entire song revolves around on the meaning that the members of BTS believe in themselves and don't need to be identified as artists for them to keep going. They're okay with being seen as idols, even if it's usually something to look down upon in society. But they're also okay with being seen as anything else because it doesn't matter what they are, but rather how they themselves move about. Using mainly Korean sounds and folktales is impressively brave way they had just made it to America, where the people wouldn't understand or catch any of those things without proper research. I personally really adore Idol. The attention to detail is really what makes it stand out among the rest of their songs. I think the best part is the switch from J-Hope to Yoongi. It's also a sound that they've never revisited, and I think that's kind of interesting. Is it a masterpiece? No. Is it pretty good? Yes, definitely. It's a fun song, and I wish more people talked about it. Do you remember Boy in Love and the huge mess it was? Yeah, okay, good. If you don't, were you even watching? Well, allow me to introduce you to the way better version of it. It's sweet, it's cute, it's respectful, and it's one of the best love songs. When RM was asked to talk about the song, he said, and there's no better way for me to describe it because I can't compete with the man who wrote it, can I? I think the switch from Boy in Love to this shows how much the members, specifically RM, has grown as a person in terms of what love is. But who knows? Maybe they had this switch planned from the beginning.
걸 내가 말하던 누가 말하던 I don't give a I don't give a I don't give a
This is it. This is the song that started all of this for me. If I wouldn't have watched their carpool karaoke and been interested in JK's vocals, I'd never would have gotten into K-pop, and I'd never make this channel. Funny how things have changed. But you don't want to hear about that. On and no are just two letters flipped around to make to different meanings, so basically, this is just no but better. BTS's past 7 years had been nothing but running on their feet and almost losing balance and falling completely. But now, BTS has learned to keep balance. The song basically refers back to Run, using the same examples in how their career progresses. I can't tell if I'm just getting lazy with these descriptions or not, but I'm also not going to be including lyrics this time either. I just assume most of you have already read them. It's a very high energy, high power song. Basically, it's made to be played in concerts, and it does that well. That being said, it takes away from the experience outside of a concert. It makes it more difficult to listen to on its own. I know some would say, this is a masterpiece, but for me, it's pretty mid.
Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night light.
COVID-19 was at its very worst. Fear and sadness encapsulated the whole world. We didn't know if things would ever go back to how it was. If we survived, that is. We were in desperate need of a distraction, some kind of light in the dark. And then there it was. On August 21st, 2020, Dynamite was released to the world. It was a cheery song, one that encouraged happiness and joy. And that was something we all wanted, even the people that had never considered K-pop to be something they'd like, including the people that didn't know it existed. We all come together to enjoy something lighthearted in a tunnel that seemed endless. Community is what brought BTS to the top. They never sold out for Western validation. They chose English because it was the best way to get their point across. It is the most spoken language after all. They were just a group of 7 Korean me, but after this, they suddenly weren't anymore. No, they were artists to be respected. They were the light, they were the comfort, and we all represented them. Yes, I think Dynamite is every bit as deserving of the title masterpiece as the others are. It wasn't a song that reinvented the wheel, but it was a song that brought the wheel together, and that's just as impressive. On the opposite of Dynamite, the members of BTS are humans too, and they also felt sad and nostalgic surrounding the pandemic. Life Goes On is about the time pulling you forward, but your mind not moving along with it. I think this perfectly carries the feeling of COVID. For me personally, we went from 2020 to 2023 without me really realizing how much time was passing. It still felt like 2020. It didn't have community, or perfect lyricism, or stunning cinematography, but it did have nostalgia and comfort on its side. It was no masterpiece, but sometimes we don't want or need a masterpiece. Sometimes good enough is perfect. Anyways,
it's the thought of being young when your heart's just like a drum beating louder with nowhere to guard it.
Okay, contrary to popular opinion, I actually like this song. I really don't think they sold out like y'all claim. It's actually just a good song, and you want something to complain about. It's not their best work by any means though. Like, at all. It's pretty bare bones for a BTS song. Still good though.
Was it honestly the best? Cause I just wanna see the next. 부지런히 지나온 어제들 속에 참 아름답게.
The last comeback with all 7 members, all out of the military, all working together. It was a time when we didn't know if they'd be exempted or not. We hoped they would. But when this song came out, I think most if not all of us knew they wouldn't be. I think instead of focusing on the lyrics, I'd rather just say that the whole thing was dedicated to number 1 ARMY, and number 2, their career. It was an anthology, the MV references their other songs, and the lyrics promise return. They didn't dance this comeback. It wasn't a joyous release, it wasn't to be celebrated, but it was at least to look forward. I, as one singular person, don't know what the second book looks like. I can't guarantee it'll be what I, or what you, want. I'm bittersweet about the ending to this one, and I struggle to look forward. But they promised they'd come back, and I don't have a reason to not believe them. Alright, finally done. If you managed to make it this long, I for one, appreciate you. And I may appreciate you even more if you threw a like, subscribe or comment my way, but I don't care too much. Throughout this video I used books instead of chapters for my reference point, despite what BTS has said themselves. I realize they say it's chapters, but it feels more like a whole book to me. This video took me a month and a half to finish, and I really hope someone watched it. Anyway, happy Festa to the people that celebrate. And oh, would you look at the time, it seems Jin must be back by now. That's all from me now. Thanks for watching.
다른 게 별로 없다면 you say 썰어나예 난 변화는 많았지만 변함은 없었다 해 어느 샷도 매 순간이 새로운 트레서 지금 난 마치 13살 그때 나처럼 아직도 배울 게 많고 나 인생 제로